Continue with the sadhana. After we take refuge and generate bodhicitta, then comes the verses of the four immeasurables. So what we have there is the short version of the four immeasurables. There's also a longer version that you can use if you wish in your meditation. So it starts out, may all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. That is immeasurable love. It's called immeasurable because it extends to countless or immeasurable sentient beings. And it's called immeasurable because you develop it to a limitless degree. Okay? And by the way, when we talk about sentient beings, it indicates any being with a mind, except for Buddhas. Buddhas are not sentient beings. But it can go from, very small creatures up through human beings. It doesn't include plants. They're said to be biologically alive, but without consciousness. And please don't send me a lot of questions asking me why not. You can look in one of my books about that. Then the second one is meals and love. The first one, love. The definition of love is to wish happiness and its causes. So it's not just happiness, it's also the causes of happiness. So it really makes us think, what is happiness? Okay, because we think happiness is getting everything we want, but think about that again. Is that real happiness, getting everything you want? Okay. And then the second one is, may all sentient beings be free of suffering and its causes. So their suffering means any undesirable experience. It doesn't mean just physical or mental pain, but just the fact of having a body and mind under the influence of afflictions and karma is undesirable, okay, or unsatisfactory. And so wanting sentient beings to be free of that is compassion. Okay, so again, to be free of suffering, or the Sanskrit and Pali word is dukkha, unsatisfactory experiences, and their causes. Okay, so again, it makes us think, what is an unsatisfactory experience and what causes them? Yeah, this is a big thing we're ignorant about. What are the causes of happiness and what are the causes of misery? We think we know, but we're actually quite ignorant about that. Because we do lots of things trying to be happy, and we get misery instead, don't we? Happens all the time. And yet we still do the same old things, thinking they're going to bring us happiness the next time, and they still bring us misery. Yeah. And then sometimes we do things that we think are going to make us miserable, but they actually make us happy. My mother and father made me do all sorts of things when I was a kid that I didn't want to do. And they said, just do it, try it. You'll be happy. I don't want to. And actually they were right. I had a good time. But they didn't understand about Dharma. That's the real thing that brings happiness. Okay, then the third immeasurable is, may all sentient beings never be separated from sorrowless bliss. So here sorrowless bliss can refer to good rebirths while we are still in cyclic existence, or the real sorrowless bliss is the bliss of liberation, when we are free of taking rebirth under the influence of afflictions and karma. And so wishing that is immeasurable joy. Yeah. And then the fourth one is, may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and anger. Okay, so equanimity is a mind that is free of attachment to friends, anger, dislike of other people, and apathy towards strangers. It's a mind of equal-hearted openness towards everybody. Okay, so those are the four immeasurables, and I'd like to talk about them in a little bit more depth, because they're quite important for working with a lot of the problems that we have in relating to other people. Because our mind tends to be very biased, as it says in the last one, you know, free of bias, attachment, and anger. We tend to be so biased, you know, people who are nice to me, who like me, who agree with me, who give me things, or give me things that I want. Those are the friends that I love and I'm attached to and I never want to be separated from. And people who criticize me, who get in my way, who don't agree with my ideas, who find faults and, you know, give me things that I don't want, those people are enemies, and I have a lot of hatred and aversion towards them. And everybody else who doesn't interact with me one way or another, they're just, you know, like nothing. I don't care about them. It's almost as if they don't have feelings. Yeah. So, you know, we get caught up in these three feelings of attachment, aversion, and apathy in relationships to the three groups of people: friends, enemies, and strangers. And we get stuck in a lot of quite difficult situations and become like an emotional yo-yo according to how we view these three groups of people. And yet it's basically our own mind that makes somebody into a friend, an enemy, or a stranger based on how they treat me. Because I'm the center of the universe. Right? Oh, I'm glad you agree. So we'll go into a little bit more depth in these, you know, in the upcoming talks. But in the meantime, just observe how your mind categorizes people into friends, enemies, and strangers based on how they relate to me, the center of the universe, or how they relate to other people or things that are important to me, who's the center of the universe. And just observe how that happens, how you categorize people, how you then generate these three emotions of attachment, aversion, and apathy, and then what happens after that, how you act towards these three groups of people. And then, what are the results of your actions on yourself and on others? So do a little bit of research on that, on, you know, how the system's working now, and that'll help us see the flawed way, and then that will open our mind to want to look at it in a different way.